What's going on, guys? Welcome in. Welcome back to our summer series previewing some of the big time college football teams. Get to some of the programs that are not as big either. Let off with Ohio State. Those of you that are subscribed to the channel, I'm sure many of you already saw that. Judging by the reaction, looks like a lot of folks like that. So thank you. Make sure to like, subscribe for the videos. You can find the Ohio State one on the channel today. We are going to deep dive, semi deep dive. It is the summertime into another Power 4 program. We're going to look at the Oregon Ducks really briefly as far as what they look like so far this spring/summer, what maybe we can expect from them in the 2025 college football season. A lot of people are asking about the college football packages. That'll be up a little bit later in the summer. We hit over 60% last year against the spread and over-under, so it was a fantastic college football betting season. So let's break it down real quick. Oregon, let's start with the offense. Will Stein, he returns as the offensive coordinator here. They do have to replace Dylan Gabriel, who is now in the NFL. It looks like Dante Moore is likely going to be that guy taking the snaps here, who he was a big-time recruit. But Novosad and Moga, who are behind him, both more than capable of taking this team to where it wants to go as well. So if something happened to Moore, if he goes down, I think they're in good shape with two guys behind him as well. Running back room, Hughes. He's going to be a big add for them in the running back room to replace James. Remember that name. This dude, he's a big running back. He was great for Tulane last year. Ran for 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns, 100 yards per game on average. Noah Whittington, he's back, and there's a redshirt freshman they love here as well. So the running back room looks to be in great shape again. Wide receivers, Holden and Johnson are off to the NFL, so someone's got to step up this year for the Ducks. Who could it be? Here's a name to remember in Oregon, a guy they are very high on and very excited about. DeCorian Moore. He's a freshman they absolutely love. He was fantastic in the spring game. The coaching staff raves about this guy. Even in the spring game, and I was watching that. Anytime the quarterbacks needed a bailout, he was the target receiver. He was the guy. He's the ultimate playmaker and your guy to keep an eye on this year for the Oregon Ducks. They have Evan Stewart as well, who they expect to step up. They had Malik Benson from Florida State. He was highly recruited. He's not really done anything yet, but they think they can unlock it out of him. And he's got great speed, so he could be a deep threat for this team. The room is deep. It's very talented, so I expect they'll be just fine despite losing two guys to the NFL. Now, when we shift over and look at the offensive line, they got a big one. They got a good one. They love the Nevada transfer they got in Isaiah Worrell. He was a big get for them in the portal. He's already being prospected, or projected, I should say, as a top 15, 20 kind of draft pick potentially. Offensive line coach Terry, he absolutely loves him. This kid's 6'7", 340 pounds, and he can move for a big guy. He's fantastic. He's an all-conference caliber kind of guy. That was a big get for Oregon in the portal. They also added Harkey from Texas State, and they're just as high on him as they are on World. So he's actually even bigger than World, if you can imagine that. They got 4 new starters, though, on the offensive line, so it could take time to gel. We'll see. But it looks like a talented offensive line again. We'll see. Maybe they're not great early as they figure it out, but they certainly have the talent there. Now, shift over to the defensive side of the football. Let's look at the D-line. They lost 3 guys along the defensive line to the NFL, so that's going to be a lot to replace. But the coaches feel really good about the line again this year. Amari Washington, he's a name to know on the defensive line this year. They think he's an eventual NFL guy. Bear Alexander, that name probably sounds familiar to most. They think he's really highly of and expect to get the most out of him. So far in the spring, he's looked good. The 2 edges are back, so they feel pretty good about the defensive line by and large. They did not go in the portal much here because they love what they have, even with the young guys waiting in the wings. They got 4- and 5-star talent everywhere. Matthew Johnson, he's a guy they love too, a guy to keep an eye on. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get, but he's one of those who's waiting in the wings. Looking at the secondary, this is something to keep in mind. Every starter from last year's secondary is gone. So that's something notable here for Oregon. Florence, he may start at one of the corner spots. He's finally healthy. He's been banged up a bit for them. Dylan Thieneman from Purdue, they absolutely love. He should be the leader of the secondary this year. They got a couple freshmen they like. They added another guy from Ole Miss they like as well. So it's a rebuilt secondary room for sure. They added one of the best JUCO players in the country who redshirted last year, who should play this year. So there's a lot of talent here, but they don't have any experience here at Oregon. So we'll see how it comes together, how fast they click. Maybe they get taken advantage of early on in the season, but I can see them working that out as the season progresses. Schedule-wise, At Penn State, probably the hardest game of their schedule. At Iowa, could be tricky as well. Never an easy place to play. They don't play Ohio State. They don't play Michigan. That's nice for them this year. So the schedule sets up pretty well for them this year to be a playoff team once again. So I think that's kind of the bare bone minimum expectations for Oregon is to make the playoffs again. Will they win the whole thing? I don't know. Too early to tell. I don't know if they can quite go all the way. But this should be another really good Oregon Ducks team that probably gets better as the season goes on because they got a lot of young guys. And expect to see Oregon in the playoffs once again this year. Maybe I don't know if they run the table, but maybe a 10-2 kind of year. That should be good enough to get in. So there's a preview for you on Oregon. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back with more previews for you all. Thanks again. See you next time.